board member, an expert panel. From the Department of Finance, we have Director Joyce Briones of the Legal Affairs Office, Legal Services and Local Finance Group of the DOF. We also have Director Dominic Mariano from the Bureau of Treasury. From the Department of Budget and Management, we have Undersecretary Rolando U. Toledo, together with Attorney John Patrick S. Malyari. From the Department of Social Welfare and Development, we have Assistant Secretary Ulysses Aguilar, Assistant Secretary for Community Engagement, together with Director Mary Grace S. Arbola Durad, Director of the International Affairs Attached and Supervised Agency Service. We also have Director Edwin S. Morata of the Program Management Bureau. From the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, we have Assistant General Manager Arnel N. Casas, together with Mr. Orlando M. Malaca, the Department Manager of the Charity Assistance Department. From the Government Service Insurance System, we have Ms. Rosalinda Mendoza, the Vice President for Operations Group, Attorney Giovanni Lynn Kiroy Marin, the Disciplinary Staff Liaison Officer, and Mr. Edwin Lopez. From the Social Security System, we have Dr. Ferdinand M. Damo, the Acting Head Medical Services Division, and Attorney Chrissy May Arbarion, Acting Attorney 2 of the Legislative Affairs Department. From the Commission on Audit, we have Attorney Neri B. Aspili, State Auditor 3, POA National Government Agencies Cluster 6, the DOH Audit Team. Ms. Maria Teresa Cynthia Beliesa, State Auditor 3, OIC Audit Team Leader, Group F, PhilHealth Corporate Government Audit Sector. Also have Mr. Edwin B. Eborda Jr., OIC Audit Team Leader, COA PhilHealth. Ms. Celia Nazareno, Supervising Auditor. We also have Mr. Repan Agustos Cusio, State Auditor 3, OIC Audit Team Leader for COA PCSO. And Mr. Neptali Dacuba Gonzaga, State Auditor 3, OIC Audit Team Leader, PCSO Team 1, Corporate Government Audit Sector 6. From the National Kidney and Transplant Institute, we have Dr. Rose Marie O. Rosete Liquete, the Executive Director, together with Mr. Peter Paul M. Plegaria, Transplant Coordinator of the Human Organ Preservation Effort, and Ms. Maribel U. Estrella, the Manager for Finance Services Department of the Executive Office of NKTI. From the Philippine Heart Center, we have Dr. Abenilo Aventura Jr., who is online, and present with us are Dr. Antonio C. Pascual, the OIC Executive Director, Dr. Liberty Yaneza, the Head Section of the Heart Failure Section, and Dr. Christopher C. Cheng, Department Manager, Department of Surgery and Anesthesia. From the Lung Center of the Philippines, we have Dr. Edmund Villaroman, the Chairperson of the Joint LCP NKTI Lung Transplant Program, Department of Thoracic Surgery and Anesthesia. We also have Dr. Dennis Teo, Co-Chairman Lungs Transplant Program. From the Philippine Medical Association, we have Dr. Hector M. Santos, the President. We also have Dr. Juan Antonio G.P. Perez, UHC Advocate of the Medical Action Group and Universal Healthcare Collective. We also have from the United Private Hospital Unions of the Philippines, Mr. Ronald Ignacio, the spokesperson, together with Mr. Roberto Manuel Bathan Payao Jr., the Union President of the Federation of Free Workers. And then we have from the Philippine Coalition of Consumer Welfare Incorporated, we have Mr. Ricardo C. Samaniego, the Chairman and Founder. From the Development Bank of the Philippines,
Here, good morning.
we have Ms. Caroline Olfindo, Senior Vice President, Branch Banking Sector. Mr. Ricardo Joseph Bandal II, Vice President. Attorney Ivan Philip Ibero, Vice President. Ms. Raquel Anzures, Assistant Vice President. Ms. Carla Gianca Gonzalez, Manager. And Mr. Attorney Lauriel Castillo. And Ms. Christine Morales. And we also have from the City of Naga, the City Administrator, Mr. Joselito S.A. Del Rosario. From the Camarines Norte Provincial Hospital, we have Dr. Liborio Ferrer, the Acting Chief of Hospital, together with Mr. Ian Consti Obusan, Mr. Israel Llaneta, and Dr. Maria Victoria Murillo de Vera. We also have online with us Mr. Benj Benbiahe Poscablo, registered nurse and staff nurse at present with the Singapore General Hospital. He is a health advocate. That would be all for the meantime, Mr. Chair. We are expecting some other guests to join us, Mr. Chair.
Salamat, Comsec. Nakapag-oath na?
Yung iba po, sir, for some of the issues, but not all of the issues.
So, pwedeng
Yes, sir.
kindly
May
administer.
I request everyone that I mentioned to stand up? Pati po yung nasa likod ng mga tinawag ko. To stand up. You raise your right hand. Kasi po, just to explain, we have a new topic and you might be asked on those issues. So, we have to swear you again. Okay. Right hand po. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? This inquiry in aid of legislation of the Committee on Health and Demography. Say I do po. Okay. You may sit now. Thank you very much.
Salamat, Comsec, and to everyone here and to my fellow Filipinos, magandang araw po sa atin lahat. Paraphrasing the late Maya Angelou, an American civil rights advocate. In the end, people will forget what you told them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Our people will always remember us, their servants, for how we took care of them, of their health, of their struggles in life. They will always remember hindi kung ano-anong sinasabi sa kanila, kung ano-anong paliwanag at ang binibigay sa kanila, bakit zero budget, halimbawa, ang para sa PhilHealth sa susunod na taon. Pero hindi nila makakalimutan kung anong klaseng serbisyo ang binibigay natin sa kanila. Kung ipinaglaban ba natin ang kanilang kapakanan, kung ibinigay ba natin ang serbisyong tunay na may malasakit at kalinga sa kanila, lalo na ang mga mahirap nating kababayan na walang ibang malapitan kundi tayo pong nasa gobyerno at ang pamahalaan. As the chairperson of the Committee on Health, my priority is for government to provide and continue to provide accessible and affordable healthcare services to every Filipino. This is exactly the objective of Republic Act 11223 or the Universal Healthcare Law, which is a landmark legislation meant to guarantee equitable access to quality and affordable healthcare services. That is why it saddens me that the bicameral committee report on the 2025 national budget allocated zero budget for the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation next year. I have expressed my deepest reservations on this decision, and in fact, I also did not sign the bicameral report containing such a provision. Sabi ko nga, dapat lessons learned po ito sa ating naranasan sa panahon ng pandemya. We should invest more in health dahil naniniwala po ko, health is wealth at katumbas po yan ng buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Maalala ko lang po noong 2019 during budget deliberation, ang binawasan po ng pondo ang RITM. Hindi po ako pumayag. Pinabalik po natin ito at dinagdagan natin. And who would expect, pagdating ng March 7, nag-declare po ng state of health emergency. At ang RITM, ang pinaka-importanting opisina, nagkakandak ng test na pinapadala pa sa Australia, and it took them 1 week. Ibig sabihin dito, dapat ay mag-invest tayo sa health. Lessons learned po ito para sa atin. Di ba tayo nadala dito? During the past 5 hearings of this committee on the PhilHealth funds, at atrasin ko lang po, no? Hindi lang po past 5 hearings po tayo dito. At naka-11th hearing na po tayo, kasama na po ang health emergency allowances ng ating mga healthcare workers. Dito po ito nag-umpisa last March. At maraming lumalapit sa akin dito sa committee na hindi pa po nababayaran ang kanilang health emergency allowances. Salamat sa DOH, salamat sa DBM. Finally, unti-unti nang nababayaran at sulit po ang pangungulit natin. Nakapag-release na po last July ng 27 billion at ongoing po ang pagbabayad dito. At sana'y matapos na po ito. Ngayon, marami pang appeals na dumadating at sana matugunan rin po ito dahil services rendered po ito. Pinagpawisan po ng ating mga healthcare workers po ito. Hero po sila ng pandemya. Dapat po ibalik natin sa kanila ang kanilang serbisyo. So dapat po mabayaran itong hiya nila. Salamat, na-release na po yung 27 billion. Hindi ko lang po alam kung nasaan na ngayon. Nababa na ba sa region o nabayaran na? Kasi marami pa rin lumalapit sa akin at humingi ng tulong na hindi pa sila nababayaran. At sa pag-hearing natin, after 5 hearings, ito, pumasok po ang issue ng PhilHealth dahil may reserve fund po ang PhilHealth. May excess funds pala ang PhilHealth. Doon po tayo na bahala. Meron silang 89.9 billion na excess funds na winalis po ng National Treasury. Dahil excess daw po ito. Ngayon, ang problema, winalis na zero pa. Another problem po ito. During the past 5 hearings of this committee regarding PhilHealth funds, which started last July 30, ang 11th na po ito ngayon, including HEA, it was revealed that PhilHealth has excess funding of about 500 billion, while we pointed out that the agency's lapses is not utilizing more efficiently such funds. I believe that it does not give justice to deprive PhilHealth of the government subsidy. It is the poor, the hopeless, and the oppressed Filipinos who will suffer ultimately. Hindi po ang PhilHealth ang napaparusahan dito, kundi ang milyon-milyong pasyente na umaasa po sa PhilHealth. Paano na lang po ang Pasko natin nito? Paano na lang po ang Pasko ng mga kababayan natin? Andiyan dyan yung pangamba. Bakit zero? Paano kami magpapa-hospital? Paano na lang pag nagpa-hospital kami? Tutulungan ba kami ng PhilHealth? While we previously called for scrutiny of the PhilHealth budget, sa totoo lang, ayaw kong ma-zero ang subsidy sa inyo. Dahil nawala na nga kayo ng pinalipat na excess funds sa National Treasury. Salamat sa Supreme Court at pinigilan nila yung natitirang 29.9 billion. Subalit, yung 60 billion, nawalis na. I do not agree that we should completely defund subsidy for PhilHealth. This is unacceptable and anti-poor. Does not solve the problem. In fact, it creates another problem. Ulitin ko, nawalis na nga ang excess fund, na zero pa ang budget ninyo sa 2025. I also want to highlight that the UHC law mandates that the amount necessary to implement the provisions of the UHC shall be included in the GAA and shall be appropriated under the DOH and the national government subsidy to PhilHealth. May pinanggagalingan po yan, parte po ng koleksyon mula sa Sintac sa ilalim ng Republic Act 11346 o Republic Act 11467 ay nakalaan po dapat sa implementasyon po ng UHC, kabilang na ang subsidy po para sa PhilHealth. Salamat sa ating principal sponsor ng UHC law, pinaglaban niya po ito. We want also to seek clarification with the experts on the legality of this move to defund PhilHealth. Ipinasa ng Kongreso ang batas na binubuwisan ng ilang tax products para mapunta sa health at implementasyon ng UHC. Ang tanong dito, saan napunta ang budget na dapat para sa PhilHealth? Kung may tinanggal na budget sa PhilHealth dahil kulang ang benepisyong binibigay nila, dapat po sa health po ito. Kaya nga po, PhilHealth. Hindi po dapat sa iba gagamitin ito. Concern ko lang po dito sa PhilHealth naman, kayo po'y sa health nga Hindi naman negosyo yung PhilHealth. Pangkalusugan po yan. Ano ho ba ang prioridad ninyo sa ngayon? Tingnan nyo po, ang daming mga pasyente naghihingalo, hindi nila alam saan sila humingi ng tulong para sa pagpapa-hospital. Yung iba ayaw na pong magpa-hospital. takot magpa-hospital, ayaw magpa-hospital. Maraming na-admit dyan. Kung ano yung binayad nila, kinalta sa sweldo, mas ang kukonti pa yung, halimbawa, provincial health officer po ng Camarines sa Norte. Na-admit siya, 4 million. Ang sinagot ng PhilHealth, 27,000. Na-admit siya muli. 6 million ang sinagot ng PhilHealth, 29,000. 57,000 lang po ang sinagot ng PhilHealth out of 10 million na billing niya. Ang kinalta sa sweldo niya, 200,000. Lugi pa siya. Nakakalungkot, namatay pa siya. Hindi niya napakinabangan yung kinontribute niya. Yan po ang kinababahala ng lahat. Ngayon, na miyembro po ng PhilHealth, lahat tayo miyembro eh. Yung iba, sinasubsidize naman po ng gobyerno. Bakit napakaliit po nito? I-compute nyo po. Kung magkano ang budget nyo, sabi nyo, inaprubahan nyo na po. Tinaasan nyo yung inyong konsulta package ng 1.7 from 500. So ilan ho bang nakinabang? Nakinabang ba ang 115 million Filipinos? Hindi. Ngayon pa kayo nagkakandara pa. Kasi naging issue na kayo. Tandaan natin, pang 6 hearing na natin ito. Ang sinasabi nyo, nire-review nyo pa ang inyong packages, nire-review nyo ang inyong case rates na 9,000 case rates. Hindi nyo masyadong binigyan ng pansin. Ngayon kayo nagkakandara pa dahil naging controversial na po ang PhilHealth. Kung hindi naging controversial ang PhilHealth, wala. Relax lang kayo. Nagplano pa kayong mag-party, gagastos ng mahigit 100 milyon. Wawa naman yung Pilipino. Konsensya naman kayo. Saan napunta ang budget? Yun ang tanong natin dito. There is also a provision in the Universal Healthcare Act that premium subsidy for indirect contributors shall be included annually in the General Appropriations Act. Nasa batas po na dapat bayaran ng gobyerno ang premium para sa mga indirect contributors at mga walang kakayahang magbayad ng premium. Para na rin pinabayaan ng gobyerno ang kanilang responsibilidad na bayaran ang premium ng mga indirect contributors kung walang subsidy na ibibigay. Kaya nga po ngayon nagsasabi sa social media na bakit pa sila magbabayad sa PhilHealth kung ang gobyerno mismo ay tinatalikuran nito ang responsibilidad na magbayad ng premium. Kung hindi magbabayad ang gobyerno ng premium para sa indirect contributors, para na rin nating inaasa sa mga indirect contributors at sa mga manggagawa ang pagsusustain sa PhilHealth. Kaltas po ito sa sweldo. Pinagpawisan po ito ng ating mga kababayan. Dapat makinabang ang mga direct contributors dito. Dapat yung binayad nila, mas malaki pa yung makukuha nila. Meron dyan buntis, mag-asawa. 40,000 yung na-contribute nila yearly sa PhilHealth. Nung nanganak, 20,000 lang yung na-avail nila. Ang problema, mandated silang mag-contribute. Marami pong galit. Maraming nalulungkot. Maraming nasasaktan PhilHealth. Kaya nga, sabi sa social media, bawal magkasakit sa susunod na taon. We kept on urging PhilHealth to expand its benefit packages, especially for top 10 mortality diseases. Ito yung mga pinangako nyo, ha? Meron kayong commitment letter dito. Increase case rates, scrap its restrictive policies like the 24-hour confinement policy. Ito po yung kailangan mo magpa-admit ng 24 hours para i-cover ka po ng PhilHealth. At cover additional services like dental, optometric services, and assistive devices. Importante itong dental. Ilang beses lang po natin itong diniscuss dito yung dental. Salamat at i-cover ninyo next year. At salamat rin po dun sa tinanggal na ninyo yung single period of confinement policy kung saan po'y bawal i-cover sa loob ng 90 days yung same sakit. Ito yung tinatawag na no repeat sakit policy. Pasintabi sa kumakain. Pagka nagka-diarrhea ka, pneumonia ka, o Bleeding ka, bawal i-cover within 90 days kung the same na sakit. Kalokohan naman yun. Sobra-sobra nga yung pondo ninyo. PhilHealth also recently approved the inclusion of dental services. Importante po ito sa bundok. Yung iba, ginagamit na lang yung sinulid para pangtanggal ng ngipin. I-cover niyo po yan. At itong importante rito, yung konsulta package ninyo, dapat po alam ng Pilipino. Napansin ko, 5 million lang po nakakaalam eh. Yung iba, hindi nila alam. Yung nakaka-avail, 5 million lang po. How about the other 100 million Filipinos na dapat mapaintindi? Salamat, tinaasan niyo po. Naging 1.7 na po ang inyong konsulta package. Importante, education campaign po dito. In addition to an emergency care benefit, glasses and optometric services for children, among others, ito po yung inyong pinangako. I also commend the recent approval of a second round increases in selected case rates by 50%. O kaya naman pala eh. Naaprubahan nyo nga sa loob ng isang linggo. Noon, since July 30, August, September, October, November, almost 5 months na po ang pag-hearing natin. Sabi nyo, pag-aaralan nyo. Pero kung gusto nyo talagang gawin sa loob ng isang linggo, kaya naman. Papasalamat din tayo sa ating resource persons at health advocates dahil kung hindi dahil sa kanilang pakikipaglaban, hindi matutupad ang dagdag na benepisyo dito. No? Kayo po yung sumusuri dito. Sulit ang ating pangungulit. It now falls on the hands of PhilHealth to fulfill its promises. Sana po, President Ledesma, yung inyong pinangako, tinagurian pa naman kitang boy promise. Sana po ay maging boy tupad ka na po ngayong 2025 at inyong mga reforms na pinangako ay matutupad. The PhilHealth Board recently approved 284 billion corporate operating budget for 2025, reflecting various improvements in PhilHealth benefits. Oy, kaya naman pala. Ang tanong lang, how can PhilHealth efficiently implement its commitments for better healthcare benefits if no subsidy was allocated? Papakinggan po kita. Nakiusap ka, gusto mong ma-explain? Sige po. Gusto po ng taong bayan makinig kung anong plano nyo sa 2025. Gusto kong malaman mula sa PhilHealth ano bang nagawa ninyo sa pinangako ninyo at ano pa ang inyong planong gawin at tutuparin. Paano maapektuhan ng zero budget ang mga programa na papalawakin ninyo. As President Marcos said, PhilHealth has sufficient budget to do all the things that they want to do. Challenge po ito sa inyo. Saan nyo kukunin ang pondo para mas mapabuti pa ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth? Kung ginamit po sana ito ng tama ang pondo ninyo, hindi po tayo aabot sa puntong ito. The Commission on Audit earlier flagged that the 89.9 billion excess funds of PhilHealth could have been used to expand benefits of its members. The COA said the transfer of the unutilized funds to the National Treasury resulted in depriving the members of adequate and additional benefit coverage. Galit po ang tao ngayon dahil alam natin na maraming pasyente pa po ang naghihingalo, walang pambayad, ayaw magpa-hospital, takot magpa-hospital dahil po sa babayaran sa hospital. We also want to be clarified on the reported excessive budget allocated by PhilHealth for its 30th anniversary. Please explain po sa publiko, 138 million in total. Kasama na po dyan yung gala night amounting to 18 million, commemorative medal costing 4 million, special tokens totaling 30 million, maraming pasyenteng naghihingalo. Ilang pasyente po ang masisave dito? Ilang buhay po ang masasalbar dito kung hindi kayo gagastos ng ganon kalaki? Ulitin ko po, mga mahirap na pasyente ang kawawa dito. Malaking tulong po sa mga indigent patients kung mapapaganda ang benepisyo ng PhilHealth para mabawasan ang kanilang gastos o out-of-pocket expenses. Imbis na ibayad sa ospital, pwede na po ito ipambili ng gamot, pagkain at iba pang pangangailangan. as we demand for PhilHealth to utilize their funds properly to benefit the poor, we should also support the agency in reaching this goal by providing sufficient funds to strengthen our country's health sector. More importantly, funding intended for health must be used and allocated for health. Let us be reminded that under the UHC law, Filipinos should be ensured that health care expenses are kept to a minimum. Unfortunately, we are still far from achieving this goal. And it may become even more difficult with a zero subsidy allocation for next year. Isa rin po sa ating priority sa hearing na ito ay ang ating healthcare workers. For this year, sa ating pangungulit, 27 billion was released by the DBM for the payment of HEA. Salamat po sa Executive Department at inyo namang obligasyon yan dahil services rendered na po yan. I would also like to report that we managed to allot funding for the unprogrammed appropriations. Nakiusap po tayo sa hearing sa ating leadership dito sa Senado na sana po ay maglaan rin po ng pagkukunan sana. Kahit na unprogram pa ito, nakabase po ito kung may excess collection, pero sana makapaglaan ng unprogram allocation. Unahin po itong mga health emergency allowances po. Kahit appeals na po ito, pag services rendered naman po ito, dapat po balikan ito ng DOH at ng DBM. In this hearing, we will continue to hear the concerns of several healthcare workers as this committee is committed to being an avenue for them to air out their concerns. Yan po ang pinangako ko sa kanila. Bukas po ang committee ito para sa inyo. Kahit saan po ako pumupunta ngayon, nagsisigawan pa rin. Imbis na sasalubong nila na Merry Christmas, ang narinig ko, heya, heya. Dahil yung ibang lugar, hindi pa talaga nababayaran ang health emergency allowances nila. Please, DBM, DOH, dito po ang ating mga healthcare workers para sa kanilang health emergency allowances. As we demand for PhilHealth to utilize their funds, marami pa pong issue dapat dito na ating tatalakayin. We also seek updates on the medical assistance programs of the government in line with the Republic Act 11463 or the Malasakit Centers Act. At tinitingnan natin ito ng mabuti sa ngayon dahil meron po mga ilang nababahala na bakit hindi po sila matutulungan dahil zero budget na po ang PhilHealth. Ipapa-explain po natin ang ating DOH dito. Na ito naman pong Malasakit Center, it's a one-stop shop. 4 na ahensya po ito, DOH, PCSO, DSWD, at PhilHealth para magtulong-tulong. Pera po ng taong bayan yan na mula sa 4 na ahensya ng gobyerno. Para po ito sa mga poor and indigent patients. Kaya please check nyo po yung inyong mga personnel dyan sa mga Malasakit Centers. Mandated naman po ng law na tumulong kayo. Kasi may iba po dyan, ayaw tumulong. Alam nyo, dito sa gobyernong ito, dito sa ating pagsiservisyo, please lang, pera po ng taong bayan yan, ibalik po ninyo sa taong bayan. May ilan dyan. Alam nyo, kung gustong tumulong, may paraan. Kung ayaw tumulong, may dahilan talaga. May makonsensya naman kayo. Hindi nyo po pera yan. Pera po ng taong bayan yan. The committee will also discuss today's ways to upgrade and strengthen our health facilities. In line with this, we will also seek updates on the status of primary care services such as super health centers and specialized medical services such as regional specialty centers. We will also discuss Senate Bill 2585, which institutionalizes the Philippine Blood Center to become the national and central hub of blood services in the country, overseeing the collection, testing, processing, storage, and distribution of blood and blood components. Related to this, we will also discuss Senate Bills number 689 and 2657 to strengthen opportunities and avenues for Filipinos to be more informed about organ donation, in hopes of increasing the country's pool of potential organ donors. As part of the oversight functions of this committee, we remain committed to our goal of making health services more accessible and affordable to all Filipinos. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. May we ask our colleague here, no, Senator JB, do you have any opening statement?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Magpapasalamat ako sa aking chairman ng Committee on Health sa pagpapatawag ng hearing na ito na siguro napapanahon, no? Dahil po sa mga isyung lumabas ngayon, lalo na po doon sa katatapos na BICAM na kung saan po na zero ang PhilHealth. So may mga katanungan tayo mamaya kung ito gaano ito maapektuhan, kung paano rin to gagawa ng paraan. Dito man nakarang araw po ay naging mainit ang usapin. Sabi ko nga po, ang usapin ang pag-zero ng Kongreso sa 2025 budget ng PhilHealth, yung pong subsidy. Naunawaan po natin ang pangamba ng ating mga kababayan na mawala ang inaasahan nila na kahit kaunting ginhawa na maaring maihatid sa kanila ng PhilHealth. Ngunit kahapon, sinabi ng sa hearing po sa House of Representatives, sinabi po ng PhilHealth President na si Manuel Ledesma na totoong may surplus funds. Ang PhilHealth amounting to 150 billion. Pero ang tanong ng lahat, maapektuhan ba ang operasyon ng PhilHealth sa susunod na taon at ang mga pinangako nitong enhanced benefit packages pursuant to the Universal Healthcare Act, pati na rin po ang pagbababa ng premium contributions para sa ating mga direct contributors. Magkakaroon ba ito ng epekto sa pagpapalawak ng mga benefit packages para sa ikagiginhawa ng ating mga kababayan? Ano ang magiging epekto kapag naipasa ng Kongreso ang panukalang pababain ang PhilHealth contributions? Incidentally, Mr. Chair, ay naipasa na po natin. Nagpapasalamat ako kay Senator Bongo dahil po ay pinayagan na tayo mag-hear ng subcommittee on the UHC amendments. Pinasa po natin ito, Mr. Chairman, August 27 yata, 2024. So we're hoping that our counterparts in the House of Representatives would be able to prioritize ito pong UHC amendment. August pa ho natin na ipasa. Sana po ay i-prioritize sa ating po mga counterparts sa House of Representatives. Itong nakaraang mga araw ay marami po nangamba para sa kawalan ng subsidiya na binigay sa PhilHealth para sa susunod na taon. It is noteworthy to consider looking into the current laws that have categorically earmarked funds for PhilHealth for the implementation of UHC, specifically Section 14 of RA number 11346 or the syntax law. According to the law, 50% of the total revenues collected from excise tax on sugar sweetened beverages, to which 80% will go to PhilHealth for the implementation of UHC. 50% of the revenues collected from the excise tax on alcohol products, to which 80% will go to PhilHealth for the implementation of UHC. And also, 50% of the total collection from tobacco products, to which 80% will likewise go to PhilHealth for the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Act. Revenues from excise tax on heated tobacco products and vapor products, to which 80% will go to PhilHealth, again, for the implementation of UHC. So siguro, Mr. Chair, ito magiging katanungan dahil po ito earmark. Paano po ang treatment na ito? No, siguro next time we will ask DBM on how this will be treated. Kaugnay po ng mga ito, Mr. Chair, nais kong ulitin ang aking adikain na ma-establish ang Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on Universal Healthcare Implementation in accordance with Section 39 of the UHC Act. Sa oversight nito, makapagsasagawa na tayo ng assessment kung ano na ang inabot ng Universal Healthcare Act. Ang batas po na ito ay may tinuturing na landmark legislation ay nagtatalaga sa PhilHealth bilang isa sa pangunahing may kinalaman at responsibilidad sa maayos sa patupad ng mga individual-based health services. Sana po ay maisagawa natin ito sa pagbabalik ng sesyon sa susunod na taon upang mabigyang kapanatagan ang ating mga kababayan. Incidentally, Mr. Chair, 2025 marks the 6th year already. Going 6th year tayo. 2019 po ito. Pinirmahan ng Pangulong Duterte sa inyo ring tulong, no? Na ipirma ito 2019, implemented 2020. So entering 5th year of implementation na dapat lang siguro magkaroon tayo ng oversight committee hearing para po kung saan ba nagkulang, sa nagkamali, ano ang kailangan gawin para mas maging epektibo po ang ating pong PhilHealth at iba pang ahensya para po sa Universal Healthcare Act. Mr. Chair, ang importante, kaya na nabanggit niyo kanina, ang talagang pakay ng Universal Healthcare Act, may ibaba ang out-of-pocket expense ng bawat Pilipino. Kaya nga po, nagpapasalamat ako sa inyong hearing na ito dahil naging katanungan bakit merong excess funds, gayong marami pa ang nahihirapan na mabayaran ang kanilang hospital bills. Sana po ay talagang maitaas na ang case rates at benefit packages nang sa ganun ay mas maging epektibo na ang ating pong implementasyon ng Universal Healthcare Act sa dadating taon. Ang importante, yung tao po, no, hindi natin importante na mayroon tayong savings, so excess funds na importante. Yan po ay nararamdaman ating makambayan. Muli, Mr. Chair, maraming salamat po at sana ay maging mabunga ang ating pagdinig sa araw na ito.
Salamat, Senator JB. Isa rin po yan sa ating tinalakay nung nakaraang hearings, no? Yung pinangako ni President Ledesma na saan irerekomenda niya sa Pangulo yung pagbaba ng premium contribution. But aside from that, tayo naman dito sa Kongreso, sa Senado, ay pasado na po itong bill na ito. At hopefully, sana po'y pumasa po ito. Dahil dami nga pong reserve fund ng PhilHealth. Bakit mo iobliga? Mas lalo na ngayon magagalit yung Pilipino na obliga mong magbayad ng napakalaking kalta sa sweldo. Nakikita nila na sobra-sobra po ang inyong pondo. Pakinggan po natin ang ating PhilHealth sa kanilang opening statement. Dahil napakahalaga po nito kung ano nang nagawa ninyo sa nakaraang mga araw. Sabi ko nga kanina, kaya naman pala ninyong gawin na aprobahan kaagad kung gusto nyo. Dapat noon pa ito Dapat noon pa. Pinatulog nyo.
Can I go ahead, Mr. Chair? Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, with your permission, can I give a brief opening statement and then afterwards, if I can just show it's a less than 1 minute video, Mr. Chair. The video basically will highlight our financial position and it will also briefly explain that we can sustain our increases in the benefit packages despite the zero subsidy, Mr. Chair. Honorable Senator Bongo, Chairperson of the Committee on Health and Demography, Honorable Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, DOH Secretary Ted Herbosa, esteemed members of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, and fellow public servants, good morning. It's a privilege to be called before this esteemed body once again today. On behalf of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, may I extend our profound gratitude to Senator Bongo for his unwavering commitment to the well-being of our nation. Your leadership, Senator Go, has been instrumental in driving forward the vision of universal healthcare, a vision that we strive to make a daily reality. On December 12, we joined the world in commemorating Universal Healthcare Day. Today, I am pleased to present an update on how PhilHealth has turned aspirations into action, demonstrating what can be achieved through the constancy of incremental change. Progress, no matter how daunting the challenge or monolithic the institution, is inevitable when pursued with diligence and a steadfast commitment to purpose. Keeping up the pace we have set over the last 24 months of my term. Over these last months, PhilHealth has embarked on unprecedented journey of benefits enhancement. I am proud to announce the approval of 12 new benefits carefully designed to meet the evolving healthcare needs of our members. We developed coverage for 10 rare diseases that we are calling Z Miracles for Rare Diseases. These address the often overlooked needs of persons living with rare diseases. With this, we hope to position the Philippines as a leader in rare disease care in Southeast Asia. We also included physical rehabilitation and assistive devices in our benefit packages. Therapy sessions, diagnostic tests, and assistive devices for mobility impairments enable greater independence and improve quality of life for our disabled kababayans. We further improved the Z benefits for peritoneal dialysis and strengthened support for both adult and pediatric dialysis patients. We enhanced Z benefits for kidney transplantation. This involved a dramatic increase in coverage from 600,000 to over 2 million pesos, ensuring life-saving care for those in need. We extended care to post-kidney transplant patients to ensure successful long-term outcomes. For acute myocardial infarction coverage, we put in place a 1,629% expansion in financial protection for one of the country's leading causes of mortality. And for heart surgery coverage, we expanded benefits for critical cardiac procedures, including bypass surgeries. For preventive oral health care services, we included dental consultations, preventive procedures, and emergency extractions under the Consulta package. We also expanded coverage for emergency and urgent care and inter-facility ambulance transportation, ensuring immediate medical response. We now cover optometric services with eye exams and prescription eyeglasses, bringing eye care within reach for more Filipinos. We are improving access to vision-restoring surgeries for our revered senior citizens with our enhanced cataract extraction package. And finally, as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Senator, a final 50% increase in case rate coverage before 2024 closes. We had a historic rise in reimbursement rates, culminating in an 80% total increase across all case rate packages. This monumental leap in the introduction of new benefits is not the product of sudden decision, but of diligent study and steady work, a testament to the power of persistence. Every policy we have refined, every package we introduced, and every peso invested in our members reflects a long-term vision, a PhilHealth that is proactive, responsive, and resilient. Beyond expanding benefits, PhilHealth remained a guardian of financial protection as well. Based on December 6, 2024 cash position report, PhilHealth paid total benefit claims of 155.5 billion as compared to 2023 whole year claims payment of only 118 billion. Latest average claims processing time recorded is at 23 days for good claims. For claims received in 2024, November 30, 2024 claims dashboard provides that 12,617,446 or 85.56% of the total claims received were paid by PhilHealth Corporation. Only 8.88% of the claims, mostly within 60 days, are in process, while 2.04% and 3.51% were RTH or returned to hospitals and denied claims respectively. We know the weight of expectations that come with being custodians of such an essential part of our lives as the National Health Insurance Program. The financial protection we provide is not just a fiscal mechanism, but a lifeline for millions. It is the means by which we honor our national commitment to a just and equitable society. Therefore, we strive every day to meet these expectations head-on, balancing the immediate needs of our members with the long-term goals of our corporate plans. Our efforts are focused not only on delivering the services that Filipinos deserve today, but also ensuring the sustainability, transparency, and resilience of PhilHealth for generations to come. PhilHealth's ability to achieve these milestones speaks not to the capability of one leader, but to the collective resolve of a team dedicated to its mission. With a robust financial position, 150 billion pesos in surplus, 281 billion pesos in reserves, and an investment fund nearing 489 billion, we are equipped to pull our weight towards corporate efficiency. And meanwhile, we shall also endeavor to shoulder the weight of public expectations. But let me be clear, fiscal strength alone does not guarantee success. It is the strategic alignment of resources, the tireless effort of our people, and the trust you, our very honorable legislators, place in us that make this progress possible. Distinguished senators, the road ahead is long, but it is one we must walk together. As we deepen our collaboration, we reaffirm our commitment to transparency and accountability. Let us continue to build on this foundation of incremental change, moving steadily toward a future where no Filipino is left behind in the pursuit of health and well-being. In closing, I assure you that PhilHealth is more than ready to face the challenges ahead. We have demonstrated our capability to navigate complexity and deliver results. With your trust and guidance, we will continue to steer this institution toward greater heights, carrying with us the aspirations of 115 million Filipinos who look to PhilHealth not just for care, but for hope. Thank you very much, Your Honors, and PhilHealth looks forward to your continued support. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat, President Ledesma. May tanong lang po ako dito sa
Mr. Chair.
50 cent kanina, no? With zero budget ngayon, iyan na yung inyong magiging working budget for 2025. Yung mga tinaas ninyong mga case rates, kasama na dyan. Kasama na dyan yung mga commitments ninyo. Salamat.
Yes, Mr.
Magkano yung inaprobahan niyo yung
Yes,
working
Mr. Chair,
budget?
can I share with you? Can we ask a one-page slide to be flashed on the screen so that Mr. Chair can prepare ko na. Can you flash it, please? Mr. Chair, we'll flash it on the screen. This was just approved by the board two nights ago, led by our chairman, Honorable Secretary Herbosa, DOH Secretary. No. So basically, I will give the details now while it's being prepared, Mr. Chair, Honorable JV. The benefit expense amount. This slide, can I please prepare this slide? I told you already. Benefit expense, Mr. Chair, amount of 271,388 billion. Admin expense, Mr. Chair, 12.4 billion. MOE 6.6 billion. PS of 5.8 billion. CAPEX of 222 million. Total, Mr. Chair, 284,094 billion.
Kasama na dyan yung expenses niyo sa anniversary.
Mr. Chair, can we also be given some time to explain the it's
Okay.
that whatever was what came out is far from reality, Mr. Chair. If you can
Tatanong-
just be given a minute afterwards to
Okay,
explain all that.
tatanong lang po ako. So sa pinangako ninyo na expand benefit packages, increase case rates, na sinasabi ninyong 9,000 case rates na inyong pinag-aaralan pa since July 30, since we started this hearing about PhilHealth. Kasama na dyan. Tinanong kita noon, sabi mo nag-increase na kayo ng 30% noong February and another increases 30 to 50%. So ginawa niyong 50% plus 50%
actually,
across the board lahat.
Yes, actually, Mr. Chair, sorry, Mr. Chair, if I can be allowed to explain. So last February 14, Mr. Chair, we increased almost across the board by 30%. When I say, Mr. Chair, when I say almost across the board, it means the total of all of the 9,000 case rates. So almost all of the 9,000 case rates. Now, Mr. Chair, 2 nights ago, in our last board meeting, chaired by Honorable Sec Herbosa, we approved another 50% on top, Mr. Chair, on top of the 30% increase last February 14. So that translates, Mr. Chair, to a total of 80%. So we had 30, Mr. Chair, last February 14, and then 50 2 nights ago. So that's a total of 80% po increase. No? If that's compounded, that's almost around 95% po. No? I hope that clarifies, Mr. Chair, your query.
Halimbawa na lang po, itong sinabi ko kanina ay cite one example. No? Mag-asawa, pulis, ang bawas sa kanila, kalta sa sweldo nila, 1,008 each, no? So, 3,600 ang kinaltas po sa kanila bawat buwan. So, nakapag-contribute sila ng 43,000 per year. Sample lang po ito sa case, pinag-usapan natin case rates. So, sila mag-asawa, 43,000 ang na contribute nila sa PhilHealth sa loob ng isang taon. Ngayon, nanganak yung misis, di ba? So, yung kinaltas, 19,000 lang, tapos sa baby, 1,000. Parang sabi nila, ang hinaing nila, lugi daw sila dahil sila mismo mag-asawa, 43,000, tapos ang na-cover is 20,000 lang. Iba pa ito sa halimbawa ng provincial health officer na milyon-milyon, pero 27 at saka 29,000 lang ang binawas. Ito lang yung magandang halimbawa na gusto kong sagutin ninyo with your increasing of the case rates ng 50%, mas mako-cover na ba ito? Kasi hindi lang po ito isang kaso. Maraming Pilipino po, araw-araw po ang nanganganak.
Thank you for your question, Honorable Senator Bongo. Senator, with your permission, maybe later, if we can be given maybe a few minutes, we will discuss how this will work and how it will affect and be implemented. Explain namin sandali kung pwede, if given the permission. It's not so straightforward kasi po eh. Diba? If that's okay, Mr. Senator.
No problem. Basta maintindihan lang po
Yes.
ng publiko.
Layman's terms, Mr. Senator.
Opo.
Mr. Senator, sorry. Can I be given 1 minute to just show a video? Because this video will explain exactly, I think, a lot of the questions that's going to be asked later on. No? Basically, it will touch on the cash position of PhilHealth and how we're able to continue implementing the benefits despite the zero subsidy. If that's okay, Mr. Chair, Honorable JV. Just very quickly po.
Sige po, go ahead po.
Okay, thank you po. Can we please play the 1 minute video? The one we played in Congress yesterday, please.
Good afternoon, dear members of PhilHealth. In relation to the bicameral conference committee's recent decision not to provide PhilHealth with government subsidy for calendar year 2025, allow me to assure everyone that PhilHealth will continue to pay for the health benefits of all Filipinos, with or without government subsidy. It is our goal to finance the best care and benefits available. The decision of the Bicameral Conference Committee reflects its wisdom. The BICAM understands PhilHealth's capacity to continue managing the National Health Insurance Program given its surplus funds. Our financial position is strong and sufficient to sustain our operations, with a total of 281 billion in reserves and 150 billion pesos in surplus funds as of October 2024. On the other hand, our investment portfolio as of November 2024 already reached 489 billion pesos. We shall do better to provide reasons for the provision of government subsidies, which are vital to ensuring long-term improvements. We are deeply aware of the impact healthcare costs have on Filipino families, and we remain dedicated to enhancing our benefit packages and reducing out-of-pocket expenses so that every patient feels the security of their health insurance. Rest assured, all PhilHealth benefits will continue to be paid and will even improve. PhilHealth stands with every Filipino in our shared goal of achieving universal health coverage and a healthcare system that you can always trust and rely on. Together, we will overcome these challenges and continue to strengthen our commitment to your health and well-being.
Thank you very much po.
Mr. Chair, with your indulgence, siguro with yung sa mga sa mga issues na tinatanong din ng ating chairman, kasi po itong nangyari, gusto lang natin liwanagin kasi marami nangangamba. Dito po sa zero, sa pag-zero, sa subsidy ng ating pong ng gobyerno, yung po sa General Appropriations Act of PhilHealth, which was supposed to fund indirect contributors, no, yung kanilang premiums. Again, for the record, Mr. Ledesma, sinabi nyo na hindi ito maapektuhan at lahat ng miyembro, ibig sabihin, lahat ng Pilipino ay talagang i-cover pa rin po ng PhilHealth.
Yes po. Yes, Your Honor.
Ang siguro, Mr. Chair, ang naging rason po ng Bicameral Conference Committee, sa dahilan po ang nangyari po, naging controversial na naging hearing nyo rin po, yung, dahil dito, yung in excess funds na 89 billion na hindi po nagamit and it was declared as excess and savings noong 2024. So yun po ang naging rason dahil po sa budget po kasi, Mr. Chair, talagang lahat ng pondo ay kinakailangan gamitin. Yung po mga park funds, yung mga naka-parking ika nga, ay talagang dapat pong gamitin para, lalo na for, especially for economic generator programs and the like. Talagang nakakalungkot dahil ang dapat maintindihan din ating mga kababayan, ito pong budget season, ang budget hearings ay talagang win some, lose some. Lahat mong ating tinulak, may mga nakuha tayo, meron pong hindi. No? In this case, ito pong siguro po ang naging prioridad ng ating pong budget ay yung pong mga economic generators, no? Yung pong sa infrastructure programs na nung isang taon nasaan program pero ngayon po napunta sa program kaya marami po ang naapektuhan, no? Ito po yung mga railway system, infrastructure na this will produce jobs and opportunities in the future by creating growth areas. Pero ang syempre ang una pong katanungan, Mr. Chair, ay yung pong participation po kasi ng PhilHealth, no? Nabanggit kanina ni Chairman Bongo kanina na minsan milyon-milyon, daan-libo ang billing, pero bakit ho ganun lamang ang sinasagot ng PhilHealth? Nais ko lang sigurong pailala muli na hindi ho tayo private corporation. We don't need savings. We don't need excess funds at the end of the year. Ako po, nag-mayor, ang sa amin po, pag executive ka, pag social fund, dapat yan inuubos. No? Sabi ko nga no, na Mr. Ledesma, nandito po si Secretary Orbosa, ay siguro we will be willing even to have supplemental budget kung kukulangin yan. Pero kung ito ay nararamdaman natin makababayan, we are already entering the 5th year of implementation of the Universal Healthcare Act. Although meron namang considerable improvements sa out-of-pocket expense, but we have a long way to go. Siguro po yung kung nagiging rason, Mr. Chair, yung kaninang tinanong nyo, bakit ito na sinasagot ng PhilHealth, ang laging nagiging basihan ay yung case rates. And I'm glad that you have already adjusted, but it took you quite a long time. Kaya nga sana, yun po, pasensya na po, Mr. Ledesma, kung ako'y nakapagsalta na kinakailangan nating leadership change, but I kept quiet for 2 years. Kasi bago ang administrasyon, bago rin po kayo. But I guess 2 years is more than enough time for you to be able to adjust. Kaya nga, Mr. Chair, with your indulgence, siguro po kinakailangan tayo magkaroon na ng oversight committee hearing on the UHC implementation. Saan ba nagkulang? Saan ba nagkamali? Anong kailangan gawin? No? So that we can improve. Sana by next year, we want to hear that yung participation po ng PhilHealth hindi na mangyari. Hindi gaya na sinabi ni Senator Bongo, magkano yung billing na million, magkano yun, Senator Bongo, tapos ang sinagot 24,000 lang. At least kung 30, 40% or even 50% of the billing ay matutuwa natin mga kababayan. So, Mr. Ledesma, siguro as PhilHealth, can you guarantee that the 2025, the participation of PhilHealth in medical expenses, especially in hospital expenses, will considerably improve, as envisioned in the Universal Healthcare Act?
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. Yes, I can, and I'm sure I speak in behalf of the 10,000 PhilHealth employees. We can guarantee and assure you that the benefit packages will improve substantially, and the out-of-pocket expenses of the Filipino people will be drastically reduced. Thank you very much.
Pero bakit nga po, yung pong concern ni Senator Bongo, no, bakit yung participation natin, bakit yung case rates, bakit medyo matagal bago natin i-adjust? Kasi nga, nakakalungkot yung binanggit ni Senator Bongo, milyon yung tapos ganito lang.
Yung pati yung buntis na pulis, mag-asawa, lugi pa siya sa kanilang inilabas na contribution. Pero unang babalikan lang kita, President Ledesma. Nung July 30, isa to sa ating pinag-usapan. At naniniwala ka ba na kung na-implementa mo na itong mga increases, expand benefit packages, increase case rates, nung napaaga po ang inyong pag-implement dito, kesa last few days nyo lang po na-implementa, naniniwala ka ba na hindi kayo magkakaroon ng excess funds at hindi kukunin ng National Treasury? Kung napaaga yung decision mo to increase case rates, expand benefit packages, hindi ba tayo abot sa puntong ganito na ipinabalik sa inyo yung inyong excess funds na zero po kayo sa inyong budget for 2025 dahil na-discover yung reserve fund? Kung minadali mo noon, inagahan ninyo ang implementation ninyo.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Chair.
Pakisagot lang, yes or no lang muna.
Actually, Mr.
Kung napaaga yung implementation nyo ng increasing case rates, na-expand yung benefit packages, nakinabang yung mga pasyente nating mga mahirap, hindi tayo abot sa puntong mawawalis yung inyong excess funds. Yes or no?
Mr. Chair,
Yes or no lang muna. Tingin mo na.
I was going to ask Mr. Chair, with your permission.
Huwag mo akong tanongin. Ikaw
Wait.
tinatanong ko. Yes or no? Kung napaaga yung implementation nyo sa ginawa ninyo kahapon o ng karang araw, hindi ba tayo aabot sa puntong magkakaroon ng pagwawalis ng excess funds? Yun lang naman. Sa tingin, kung napaaga.
I was thinking, Mr. Chair, maybe it would be our finance guy will be able to answer the question better.
Yun kasi ang problema doon. Kung napaaga ninyong na-increase yung case rates ninyo, na-expand ninyo yung benefit packages ninyo, yung mga commitment ninyo na ngayon nyo pa nagkakandara pa kayo, ilang buhay kaya ang nasave na salbar niyan, ilang Pilipino po ang nakinabang dyan ng mga mahirap. Hindi sana kayo magkakaroon ng excess funds. Hindi nyo kasi pinansin noon eh. Ngayon lang kayo nagkakandara pa dahil naging issue na po itong PhilHealth. Sana hindi kayo na zero ngayon. Ang sakit dito, nawalis na yung excess funds ninyo dahil rin po sa inyo na nagkaroon kayo ng excess funds. Kung ginamit nyo noong una, in the start of the year pa lang, umpisa pa lang po ng taon, pinlano nyo na lang maayos. Ito, expand benefit packages, increase case rates. Ito, dagdag natin yung kung ano yung pinlano nyo ngayon. Sana pinlano nyo na noon, wala kayong excess funds, wala kayong ganong kalaking reserve fund. Sundin nyo lang yung mandated by law. Kung sabi nga ng Department of Finance, kailangan nyo magkaroon ng reserve fund of 140 billion a year. O, another 140, kung 280 yung kailangan yung i-reserve fund. Yung 220 ninyo, nagamit na sana sa mga pasyente. Pati yung excess funds na kinuha ng National Treasury, nagamit na rin po sa mga pasyente. Isipin nyo, 220 plus yung kinuha ng National Treasury na 60 o na hold lang yung 89. So more than 200 billion sana ang napakinabangan ng Pilipino kung inagahan nyo lang po.
Mr. Chair.
Sige, sagutin mo.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Just want to mention, Mr. Chair, that when we implemented the 30% almost across the board increase, the initial 30%, that was done po last February 14. So this 50% now we added was just a few nights ago. But last February 14 po namin implement yung
Kailan kinuha ng National Treasury yung 89.9?
89.9.
When was that?
I think it was April of this
Ay
year.
kung tinaasan nyo, sinabay nyo nung Pebrero yung sinasabi mong 30%, kung tinaasan mo na ng 80%, nakinabang pa ang Pilipino, nakinabang pa yung mga mahirap, hindi pa na naging excess fund, hindi nawalis.
Yes po.
Nung na-discover na meron kayong excess funds, doon nakita na meron kayong reserve fund.
Yes po.
Doon nagka-problema.
Yes po.
Attorney Eli.
Mr. Chairperson, to be fair to our President and Chief Executive Officer Emmanuel Ledesma Jr., Mr. Chairperson, it was only during his term that the case rates was enhanced, improved, and before his term, Mr. Chairperson, honorable members of the committee, the case rates was not even touched. During the previous administration.
Bakit po? Bakit po? Ikaw,
For-
matagal ka na dyan.
Yes, Mr. President.
You were there even before the appointment of President Ledesma. Bakit hindi nyo naisipan noon? I'm addressing it not only to Mr. Ledesma, but to PhilHealth. Sabi mo, panahon lang niya. Ba't hindi nyo, kung naisipan yung itaas nung February, ba't hindi nyo from 30%? Kahit na tinaasan nyo ng 30%, yung kinaltas ka dun sa buntis na yung mag-asawa na pulis, yung kinuha lang sa kanila, 20,000 lang po nakaltas. Kung inagahan nyo, baka at par na po dun sa kanyang contribution, kahit na tabla man lang sila, hindi sila nalugi. Lugi pa rin sila hindi po, tandaan ninyo ang PhilHealth, hindi po negosyo yan. Para sa health po yan. Kaya nga tayo membro ng PhilHealth, kaya tayo may Universal Healthcare Law, para makinabang yung mga pasyente at hindi sila matakot. And yet, we are still very far from full implementation of the Universal Healthcare Law. Sangayon po ako kay Senator JB, mag-oversight tayo. Ito, parang oversight na rin itong ginagawa natin To update people. To update you na gawin nyo po ang inyong trabaho. Kung inagahan nyo na po, di wala kayong excess funds. Wala kayong reserve fund na ganun kalaki. Sundin nyo lang yung batas. Kailangan nyo mag-reserve fund. Kailangan talaga. O 140 ng bawat taon, di 280. Hindi ganun kalaki na 500 billion. Tapos may excess funds pa kayo na winalis. Hindi sana magkakaganito kung inagahan nyo lang po. Kung sinabi nyo sa panahon ni Mr. Ledesma yan, sana ginawa nyo noon pa. Even before. Prior sa panahon po ni President Ledesma, hindi sana magkakaganito. Ang hirap kasi rito, natutulog po inyong pondo. Tapos, membro po tayo, ang Pilipino po, membro po ng PhilHealth. Yung i-konsulta ninyo, magtanong kayo sa Pilipino. Kukunti lang po nakakaalam ng i-konsulta sa ngayon. Iilan lang po ang nag-a-avail ng i-konsulta. pakita nyo yung record ninyo. Ilan po nakapag-avail ng e-consulta? Out of 115 million Filipinos na miyembro po ng PhilHealth, ilan lang po nakakaalam ng e-consulta program ninyo. Salamat, tinaasan nyo from 500 to 1,007. Tama naman, taasan nyo pa. Pero ilan po ang nakakaalam? Napaka-unfair naman po sa Pilipino na nagko-contribute yung iba sa atin. Tapos hindi naman napapakinabangan. Ulitin ko, hindi ang PhilHealth hindi po negosyo 'yan. Hindi po kayo nandiyan dyan para kumita yung PhilHealth. Andiyan dyan yung PhilHealth to ensure makampante yung pasyente. Hindi matakot magpa-hospital yung pasyente. At kampante silang magpa-hospital at tutulungan sila ng PhilHealth at ng gobyerno. Tandaan nyo, isang beses lang tayo dadaan sa mundong ito.
Mr. Chair, with your indulgence, in line with your issue, yung pong participation, kasi yun, I think yun yung pinupunterya ng ating chairman. Ano pa ba ang dapat gawin, kailangan, aside from yung case rates na sinabi nyo, in-adjust nyo na ngayon? So do you, siguro si Mr. Ledesma or Mr. Attorney Santos can answer, halimbawa ho, may na-hospital, 100,000 ang babayarin. Para sa mga ordinaryong may hirap, napakabigat niyan. Kaya nga natin pinasa to para nga hindi nalalapit sa politiko, sa PCSO, sa PAGCOR at kung saan-saan. Ngayon, sinasagot 8,000, 7,000, 100,000. Ano po ang kailangan gawin para kahit papano maramdaman, kahit papano malaki-laki ang kanilang ang sasagutin ng PhilHealth para at least masarap, di siya magiging magaan yun eh. Di ba? Kung sinagot man lang doon sa 20 sa buntis, kalahati nung billing, ang sarap ng pakiramdam sana noon. Ano ba ang kailangan gawin? Sige, Mr. Ledesma or Attorney Santos?
Ito, singit ko na lang. Gusto kong dagdagan ito. Masyadong umaasa yung mga kababayan natin nagmamakaawa na tuloy sa iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Sabi ko nga, hindi po, ang PhilHealth, hindi po ito business enterprise. Dapat po please spend and expand programs para sa social health expenditures natin. Gamitin niyo po yung pondo for social health expenditures para hindi na sila masyadong umasa sa MAIPIP, dito sa tulong ng iba't ibang ahensya. Isipin niyo na lang po, for example, kung tumaas ang inyong counterpart ng PhilHealth pag na-admit tayo, hindi na nila kailangan lumapit magmamakaawa sa PCSO, sa DOH, sa DSWD, sa politiko, para humingi ng tulong. Kasi kayo na mismo, nag-insure na meron silang matatanggap na sapat na benepisyo sa health. Yun lang naman po pakiusap natin. Planuhin nyo po parati na ito, in compliance with the law, pasok kayo doon sa reserve fund ninyo. Mandated naman ng UHC yan na may reserve fund kayo. Tapos yung syntax law, maglalaan ng pondo. Alam nyo, yung syntax law, inilaan po yan. 2023, naka-earmark yan para ilagay dapat sa PhilHealth. Ngayon, na-zero kayo. So, ang gawin ninyo, planuhin ninyo sa susunod na taon na in compliance with the law, simple, common sense lang po yan, sir. Planuhin ninyo in compliance with the law na meron kayong reserve fund, tas ito, gamitin nyo sa mga mahirap. Mas malaking tulong pa yon sa mga pasyente na hindi na nila kailangan magmamakaawa sa DOH, DSWD, PCSO dahil malaki na ang coverage ng PhilHealth. Kayo yung pinakamaunang magko-cover na hindi na nila kailangan humingi ng tulong. Kaya nga tayo may UHC law. Hindi tayo magkakaganito kung pinlano nyo na po ng maaga ng PhilHealth. Wala kayong excess funds, wala kayong ganong ballooning reserve fund.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Honors, for your valuable inputs and comments. No, I'll address the query, and then CEO Attorney Eli, I think, wants to add some issues. No, first of all, we will submit to this honorable committee. We already put together, Your Honors, a benefit plan for 3 years. So, we've done some benefit enhancements this year. Pero tuloy-tuloy na po ito, no? Nakalatag na yan for the next 2 years, for the next 3 years, no? We will submit that to this committee para makita niyo po yung mga plano namin on the benefits enhancements, no? Aside from that, to answer the question of Honorable Senator Joseph Ejercito, no? Aside from that, we are also looking at aggressively expanding our accredited facilities to make it easier for the people, no? And then in line with that, we are also pushing very hard on improving our road to full digitalization, no? With that also, we have a lot of updates to this honorable committee we can also share with you, no? Marami na kaming headwinds, no? We've had successful biddings and we're really moving forward on the digitalization aspect, no? That will also make it much easier and much more efficient, no? Lastly, before I pass it on to CO Eli, regarding the Consulta program po, we strongly agree with you po that prevention, no, primary care is really more important. So, although we still have a long way to go po, the ones familiar now, ang registered number, ang latest count is a little less than 30 million po, no. Pero again, we agree that is way too short, no, way too small, and we are planning to do a lot of aggressive marketing and aggressive
I'm
information.
sorry to cut you, no? Mr. Chair, with your indulgence. Doon po sa Consulta package and other benefit packages of PhilHealth for that matter. Actually, maganda yung benefit packages natin eh. Nag-level up yan. Hindi alam ng pero ang problema, bakit hindi alam ng taong bayan? Bakit tayo nagkulang sa information drive? No? For example, Mr. Chair, yung kidney transplant may 600,000. Yung pong open heart surgery may 500,000 silang nakukuha. Breast cancer 150, 200,000, di ba? Kung di ako nagkakamali. Pero ang tanong lang, Mr. Chair, kahit na ganun ng packages, madalas ang sinasagot ng PhilHealth maliit pa rin eh. Bakit ganun? Yung participation. Tapos ang lagi sasabihin, nung minsan may confront ako ron sa Cardinal, may na hospital na leader namin sa San Juan, milyon yung kanilang, gano'n din, milyon yung kanilang babayarin, sagot ng PhilHealth, nasa 8 to 10,000. Ba't kailangan tipirin? Di ba? Di ba dapat, on the onset, Mr. Chair, kung alam nyo naman naririnig na ganun, ang laki ng billing ng ating mga kababayan, tapos bakit kailangan natin tipirin? Kahit sa tama si Senator Bongo, hindi tayo private corporation na kinakailangan malaki ang profits, malaki ang margin, malaki ang excess funds at the end of the year. So yun lang po siguro ang mga dapat natin sagutin na Mr. Ledesma. Saan tayo nagkulang? Saan tayo nagkamali? Bakit po maliit ang sinasagot natin when in fact our aim really is to lower the out-of-pocket expense. Eh kung million po ang kanilang babayarin tapos 8,000, 10,000 lang ang ating sasagutin, eh di hindi tayo nakatulong, hindi it didn't even make a dent on our aim of lowering the out-of-pocket expense of every Filipino. Yan naman po na ang talagang intention ng UHC. Yun po, bakit ho, alam nyo na po, siguro nakakarating sa inyo na gano'n yung malalaking hospital bills, bakit ito tipid na tipid? Sinasabi nyo case rates, how come it took so long? For PhilHealth, sabi na natin, DOH, ATAC, lahat po ng health agencies concerned for you to act to improve on the participation. Importante, Mr. Chair, yung participation eh. Sige po.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ejercito, Mr. Chair. I will ask, with your permission, CO Eli to elaborate on the participation fee part, no? Bakit, paano yung increase niya, no? To explain further. Before that, I just want to highlight that we hear you loud and clear, Honorable Senator Ejercito, with regards to the information dissemination, no? In fact, from the...
Let me interrupt as chairman. Ulitin ko lang po, maraming nasa bundok sa bukid na hindi alam ang itong Consulta package. Alam nyo bakit? Hindi nila alam saan sila lalapit. ang layo ng opisina ng PhilHealth, ang layo ng mga ospital. Let me repeat and remind you, marami pong mga super health centers o health centers ang ating DOH na pwedeng mag-tie up kayo. Doon nila makikita yung mas mabilis i-konsulta program ng nandiyan na yung check-up. Binibigay nyo naman yung pondo through LGU para sa konsulta. Paigtingin nyo lang po ang inyong information dissemination at coordination with DOH and LGU po. Marami pong super health center na tinatayo ang DOH sa ngayon. Nasa bundok yun, yung iba nasa island. Halimbawa na lang po, Tingloy, Batangas. Paano makapag-enroll sa konsulta package yung mga Batanggenyo doon sa Tingloy? Island yun, 1 hour away. Meron silang super health center. Ipa-accredit yung super health center. With that, yung mga nandoon around the town, makaka-enroll po sila. Yung inyong less than 10% na enrollees dyan sa konsulta package ninyo, mas madodoble yan. Sipin nyo, less than 10% pa lang ang inyong nakaka-avail out of 115 million Filipinos. Yun o, ito. Sec Herbosa, ayan po. Tingloy yan, meron kayong super health center dyan. Batangas, island po yan. Paano sila makaka-enroll dyan kung hindi sila nakakaalam? Pwede ipa-accredit nyo yan. O, bigyan nyo ng gamot. O, yun yung dental services ninyo. Kikita pa yung LGU dahil sa inyong konsulta package. Makaka-operate pa sila. So, information dissemination, please.
Thank you for that, Senator. Actually, after hearing that from you, Your Honor, I will just coordinate with Secretary Herbosa on how we can fully utilize the different health centers. Also, Your Honor, I just want to add, I'm actually glad Honorable Ejercito mentioned it. Even in our hearing yesterday in Congress po, they were all highlighting, sinasabi po nila na ang daming ginagawang increase ng benefit packages ng PhilHealth, pero kung hindi rin nakakaalam ng mga tao, sayang lang, So in line with that, we are also coordinating with PCO, and Congress is also helping us to successfully and fully disseminate all of this information. But Your Honors, you are both correct when you say that kulang sa information dissemination ng PhilHealth, So we are focusing on that. And even we are getting inputs even from the board of directors to help us fully disseminate all of this info. Now, Your Honor, with your permission, if I can ask you, Eli, to discuss more on the participation part, and the
Go ahead po.
Mr. Chairperson, my views, Mr. Chairperson, well, this is my personal view, is that what really drives the payment or the out-of-pocket payment of the patient, among other reasons, is the unregulated hospital charges and professional fees. That's why on our side, on PhilHealth side, the drive right now is to come up with policies that implement no co-payment as well as fixed co-payment. If we fix the co-payment, Mr. Chairperson, honorable members of the committee, the out-of-pocket, if any, of the patient, out-of-pocket payment is predictable on their part. They can expect it even before they're already admitted. So the direction right now, as ordered by our president, is to implement no co-payment. We are already doing that in government hospitals, and to implement no co-payment and fixed co-payment in the private facilities. We have already done that when we increase and enhance the hemodialysis package. There is no co-payment now, except as to additional services by the attending physician. So that's my personal view, Mr. Chairperson, honorable members of the committee.